Welcome to GUYSUCO Roundup. I'm Curtis Tito. On this week's program, we'll bring you an interview conducted by the Senior Communications Officer, Ms. Audriana Thomas, with the Chief Executive of Aquasol Inc, Mr. Tom Fries. Do stay tuned.
I am Peter Buru, champion for Elmore State 2015. GUYSUCO is we own. We have to work for what we want. If we do not work, we cannot achieve. Everyone must come together to change GUYSUCO into a strong business. Join me as I put GUYSUCO first.
Do you live in the West Demerara area and are looking for employment? Well, the iFlat Estate Improvement Program presents just the right opportunity for you. The estate is in progress of increasing its production from 20,000 to 40,000 tons of sugar and has 406 vacancies in the agriculture department. The estate has vacancies for 298 cane harvesters, 48 planters, 15 chemical weed control hands, 12 rangers, 7 harvesting support hands, 6 field inspection or agronomy hands, 6 pest control hands, 5 shovelmen, 5 fertilizer hands, and 4 cane transport operators. iFlat Estate is the largest business in West Demerara, so come and be part of our massive improvement program. Contact the Human Resources Department of iFlat Estate, iFlat West Coast Demerara on telephone numbers 277-3114-7.
I'm Gopal Sinarayan, champion worker of MMD. We can assist to transform GUYSUCO into a sustainable and resilient business by cooperating with management, working diligently, and as one team. Many hands make work light. We must do our part. Join me in putting GUYSUCO forward.
My name is Kevin Edgar. I'm the champion for GUYSUCO head office. We're here to work. Let's put our head together and get the task done. The challenge can be enormous, but there is no limit to what we can achieve. If we work together, join me as I put GUYSUCO first.
I'm Audriana Thomas, and I'm about to have a discussion with Mr. Tom Fries, who's the president of Aquasol Corporation Inc. This is a company that's based in Miami, Florida, and they've been involved for the past months in a study, a feasibility study on an aquaculture program for GUYSUCO. So we'll be talking now about that study and how feasible it is for GUYSUCO and to some extent for Guyana to become involved in aquaculture. Mr. Fries, thank you for making yourself available to do this program. We're going to be talking about the research and about the findings in the research.
And we're an aquaculture consulting company located in Miami, Florida.
Let's talk a little about your company and what sort of experiences you've had in aquaculture.
Sure, we've been in business since 1997, and we work around the world on various aquaculture projects, and with a focus on Latin America. We've worked in Guyana, of course, Venezuela, Suriname, Ecuador, the United States, Vietnam, Oman, number of countries.
Based on the study, would you say that aquaculture is a good business opportunity for GUYSUCO?
It looks like it's going to be a very attractive opportunity for GUYSUCO to develop a new industry.
What are some of the competitive advantages?
Well, certainly GUYSUCO has an abundance of land and water, so those are two very strong advantages of the project, including hopefully the government support for the project.
In terms of the areas which this study covered, what are some of those areas?
The study was comprehensive. We started with a site analysis and looked at the water and soil quality at the Wales estate, which is where the project is proposed to be located. We looked at environmental aspects, financial aspects, production, and markets.
Let's now talk a bit about the technical requirements in terms of soil type, water quality requirements. What are some of the findings in the study as it relates to the technical requirements, and in particular those areas I've mentioned?
With proper remediation of the water and soil, it will be suitable. One of the best factors is that you have year-round growing conditions here, and that provides a competitive advantage against some other farms.
And the study has proposed the measures required for the remediation work.
Right. We have developed a program for treating both the water and soil, and it will be suitable for the culture of the fish.
And what would the aquaculture infrastructure entail?
Well, we did look at all aspects of the infrastructure, both traditional and aquaculture infrastructure. So we looked at things like transportation infrastructure, labor, and aquaculture infrastructure includes things like the seed, which is the fry, and the feed. Those are two key ingredients for a successful operation.
In terms of species, what are some of the species proposed in the report?
Part of our study looked at species selection, and it's very specific to the site. And this particular site, which is the Wales estate, is best suited for tilapia. It's a freshwater fish. It's grown around the world, and is the culture conditions, the culture practices for that fish are well known.
And are there other options?
We did look at shrimp. That's also a species that's grown worldwide. And while we haven't looked at other estates yet, there is a possibility that that species is suitable for other estates.
Okay, so we've talked about the technical requirements, we've talked about species. Let's now talk about in terms of the operational aspect of this aquaculture program. What does that entail? Is there an operational plan in the report that would guide how the operations will be conducted?
Yes, there is.
Let's talk a little about that.
Sure. The operational plan consists of a two-phase tilapia farming operation where the ponds are constructed to a size that's ideally sized for each stage of operation. We will be bringing in small fry internationally, and they'll be brought onto the farm. And once they're about 10 grams in size, they will be stocked in the nursery ponds and then grown to a size of about 160 grams or so, and then transferred to the grow-up ponds, and eventually will be harvested at about 630 grams. This is going to be a relatively new industry for Guyana, so there will be considerable training required for workers, but the plan is to hire the vast majority of workers from the local workforce and train these workers to develop new skills.
And what are some of the specific skills and expertise that will be required?
Some of the key skills will be at the farm level. You will be needing workers that know how to manage the fish, feeding the fish, making sure that they are growing well. But in addition to that, the workers also need to know how to manage the water and the pond soil. So it's a pretty involved process, but it is skills that can be easily learned by workers that have good adaptability to new techniques and skills. In addition to that, the project will also involve a processing plant. Here we need skills like filleting fish, trimming the fillets. So there's quite a demand for labor in the processing plant as well.
Another very key component of the program will be markets. What are some of the viable markets that the study would have determined and that would have been proposed in the findings?
Right. Well, we'll start with Guyana. It is a small market, but we do plan to sell and market quite a few fish into the local market, effectively as many fish as the market is willing to purchase. In addition, there is some talk of special programs for example, providing meals to children in the school system. Beyond the local market, the main market that we are targeting is the United States. There's a well-established market for fresh tilapia fillets in the United States market, and that is where the bulk of the production will be going. We will also be looking at regional markets, and those include Trinidad and Tobago and Brazil.
Are there prospects beyond, let's say, North America?
We're really going to explore all prospects. We focused mainly on the local and regional markets in the United States, but certainly we will be looking at other market prospects as the project moves forward.
This is going to be aquaculture at a very high level and to some extent a large scale, so to speak. Let's talk a bit about processing and packaging. Have you looked at that in the study, and what are they in terms of the proposals in the report?
The majority of our product is going to the United States. We needed to focus on the market requirements for that particular market. And as I mentioned, the main product there for the United States is fresh fillets. So while we will be processing whole fish for the local market, we will need to provide fresh fillets for the U.S. market. So we do have specifications for a state-of-the-art processing plant, which is capable of producing high volumes of fresh tilapia fillets.
Let's go to finances. I know that that's an important component of the report. What sort of capital investment will be required for this program?
Well, we're looking at a capital investment of approximately $34 million US dollars. And the ratio of debt and equity has yet to be decided. But the project as it stands right now is approximately $35 million.
We're still on finances, but in terms of the financial projections, in terms of money, in terms of the viability as it relates to money, how viable is this project?
Well, the project is feasible, and it does have a positive internal rate of return. So we are very comfortable with the project. We were conservative in our projections, and we are, as we move forward, we're hoping to fine-tune the projections and increase the rate of return. We feel it's very feasible. In fact, this project is in a unique position to produce a significant new industry for the country And if the project is successful, it will be one of the leading exports for the country. And there's with the vast resources, the land and the water, there really is a huge opportunity for the country and GUYSUCO.
In terms of the potential of this project to bring in foreign exchange and earn foreign currency for the country, what sort of potential would you say there is?
Well, this project has a terrific potential to earn foreign currency, since the principal market we're targeting is the United States market. They'll be earning revenues in United States dollars, so it can have a significant impact.
In terms of percentage?
90% of the production will ultimately be going into the United States market.
I know that you've touched on it before, but in terms of Guyana being appropriate for an aquaculture program, what makes Guyana so appropriate?
Well, it has year-round growing conditions, as I mentioned earlier, abundance of land and water. A lot of, for this industry, having these natural resources is so important. And these resources are not available everywhere, and they are dwindling. So Guyana's in a unique position to take advantage of those resources in a sustainable manner.
Let's talk here about sustainability. How sustainable is, or would this program be, in terms of, is it a short-term, medium, or a long-term program that GUYSUCO and Guyana can become engaged in?
Oh, absolutely. This is a long-term project with very attractive potential in the long term.
I know that, of course, there will be hindrances. There will be limitations. What are some of the hindrances, obstacles, limitations for implementing this program?
There are some infrastructure limitations, and I think that really comes primarily from the fact that it's a small country with a small population, and some of the infrastructure we need is not in place. For example, air freight connections are limited, but we have found some connections, and while the air freight rates are slightly higher, overall the project is still competitive with leading producers in Latin America.
Where does Guyana fall on the global market as it relates to the aquaculture business?
Current production of aquaculture in Guyana is very low. It's less than 400 metric tons per year. This project alone will bring in over 5,000 metric tons of production. So this is a very important project for the country as far as the development of its aquaculture industry.
In terms of the advancement in knowledge and technology, what is the possibility of an aquaculture project or program being successful in Guyana today than it was, let's say, 30 to 40 years ago?
Right, 30 or 40 years ago, the industry was really just beginning. And so the industry has progressed tremendously throughout those years. In fact, about more than half of the seafood in the world right now is coming from farms. So the industry throughout the world has really advanced. It has not reached Guyana yet. We hope this project is going to make a difference and bring Guyana into the global aquaculture world. Right, with the proper injection of expertise from companies like Aquasol and other international experts, the technology can be brought and transferred to Guyana.
Well, Mr. Freeze, I'd like to thank you for finding the time to come and talk with us. And I like what you've said. Sounds good. Sounds as if the project is viable. and very viable, so to speak. And we thank you for sharing with us and also sharing with members of the public, because you're the experts in this field. And hearing it from you is a good thing. So once again, I'd like to say thank you.
It's been a real pleasure working with GUYSUCO, and I know that GUYSUCO is very interested in diversifying, and I truly believe that aquaculture presents the best opportunity for the company and the government of Guyana and the people of Guyana to move forward.
And I'd also like to thank you, our viewers, for looking at this program. We've been talking about the aquaculture program that the Guyana Sugar Corporation is embarking on as it relates to our diversification program. It's one of the ventures that we're exploring, and we've heard from Mr. Fries, who is the president of Aquasol Corporation Inc. This is the company that was tasked with conducting the feasibility study. The study has been conducted. They have submitted their report, and the findings in the report looks very good in terms of the viability of an aquaculture program for GUYSUCO, and even in terms of the potential of aquaculture as a business for Guyana. I'm Adriana Thomas. Thank you for watching.
I am Peter Buru, champion for Elmore Estate 2015. GUYSUCO is we own. We have to work for what we want. If we do not work, we cannot achieve. Everyone must come together to change GUYSUCO into a strong business. Join me as I put GUYSUCO first.
Do you live in the West Demerara area and are looking for employment? Well, the Iflant Estate Improvement Program presents just the right opportunity for you. The estate is in progress of increasing its production from 20,000 to 40,000 tons of sugar and has 406 vacancies in the agriculture department. The estate has vacancies for 298 cane harvesters, 48 planters, 15 chemical weed control hands, 12 rangers, 7 harvesting support hands, 6 field inspection or agronomy hands, 6 pest control hands, 5 shovelmen, 5 fertilizer hands, and 4 cane transport operators. Iflant Estate is the largest business in West Demerara, so come and be part of our massive improvement program. Contact the Human Resources Department of Iflant Estate, Iflant West Coast Demerara on telephone numbers 277-3114-7.
I'm Gopal Sinarayan, champion worker of MMD. We can assist to transform GUYSUCO into a sustainable and resilient business by cooperating with management, working diligently, and as one team. Many hands make work light. We must do our part. Join me in putting GUYSUCO first.
My name is Kevin Edgar. I'm the champion for GUYSUCO head office. We're here to work. Let's put our head together and get the task done. The challenge can be enormous, but there is no limit to what we can achieve. If we work together, join me as I put GUYSUCO first.
Thank you for staying with us on this week's program. See you again next week. I'm Curtis Tito. Goodbye.